Kind of Apex. I missed the big thing. I was in like Greece or somewhere.
Oh,
so,
I
was having
better
fun.
place.
He missed some big announcement. I'm so excited for you guys.
We're excited.
I mean, it's like it's
We're
gonna
going to talk about
it's gonna be a game changer.
audience.
Game changer vote. That's a huge rate that with Wake County State. So
My first house was in Old Chapel Road.
Okay.
Amber Parks, where I house and down the road now, we call Thomas Woods Park, but still go there.
Oh, good.
So
So
still
that was
citizen,
Parkland, right?
Desmond, whenever you're ready.
He's with UNC Hospital. Okay.
Welcome, everybody. Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. We're a little on 6:06, but blame that on me. New chair trying to get his feet under. That's all that is. We're rolling now. We're rolling. First and foremost, a reminder of our meeting etiquette, particularly since we do have folks participating online or streaming this online. We do need to make sure that votes are taken by roll call and that phones are off. Phone interruptions during a meeting. And that we make sure we state our name and community with a roll call vote. So name and community needs to be stated with a roll call vote for the record. With that, we do need to go ahead and get into a roll call for our communities to make sure that we have a quorum for this meeting. So Beth, if you don't mind, take it away.
Aberdeen.
Will Mulaney, Aberdeen. Here.
Anger. Shabelle Harmon. Anger. Here. Apex.
Brett Gant, Apex.
Archer Lodge. Benson. Broadway.
Thomasville, Broadway.
Harborough.
Randy David O'Donnell here.
Carthage. Harry.
Jennifer Robinson, Carrie.
Chapel Hill.
Michael Parker, Chapel Hill.
Chatham County.
Amanda Robertson, Chatham County.
Layton. City of Durham.
Here. No, Durham County. Sorry, Durham County.
I gotcha. So we've got Durham County. Do we have anybody from the city of Durham? No. Foxfire. Fuquay Varina. Garner. Hillsborough.
Kathleen Ferguson, Hillsborough, here.
Holly Springs.
Sioux Forest, Holly Springs.
Johnston County.
Witchwater, Johnston County here.
Kenley. Nightdale. Lee County.
Kirk Smith, Lee County.
Micro.
Katie Garcia, Micro here.
Moore County. Morrisville.
D-Row here.
Okay. Orange County.
Gene Hamilton, Orange County here.
Sally Green, Orange County, alternate here.
Pine Level. Pine Bluff.
Jerry Williams, Pine Bluff.
Pinehurst.
Jeff Morgan, Pinehurst.
Pittsburgh. Princeton.
Stacy Johnson, Princeton.
Raleigh.
Mitchell Silver, City of Raleigh.
Robbins. Rolesville.
Lonnie Kern here.
Sanford.
Rebecca Salmon, City of Sanford.
Selma.
Byron McAllister, Town of Selma.
Siler City. Smithfield. Southern Pines. Taylortown. Bass. Wake County.
Susan Evans, Wake County.
Lake Forest.
Nick Slawinski, Wake Forest.
Wendell. Whispering Pines.
Rick Hutchinson, Whispering Pine.
Wilson's Mills.
Leda Bird, Wilson's Mills.
Zebulon.
Shannon Baxter, Zebulon.
We have quorum. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me.
Awesome, awesome. We do have a quorum for this evening. Fantastic. We can get rolling with the quorum here in Central Pines. Coming down part of the call to order, get to know Central Pines Regional Council. This is something that past Chair Gant was huge on, making sure that we understand why we're here and what we're doing here. Fantastically important. So let me go through a little piece of the history of Central Pines as we get started in this new administration. In December 1983, a 30-person committee was appointed by Mr. Richard Whitty, chairman of the Triangle J Council of Governments. In his charge to the committee, Mr. Whitty stated its purpose as follows. The purpose of the committee is to find ways to encourage the best possible development in the area around the park. Specific tasks are to review the development regulations now in effect in the vicinity of the Research Triangle Park, examine the development that has taken place and that will take place, decide whether current regulations are necessary and adequate to ensure high-quality development in the park environs, and draft a report on the findings and recommendations. I believe we do have a copy of that report here in our hands to pass around to those of us lucky enough to be in the room today. The objectives of this study are to protect all properties from haphazard and unsightly development and to uplift residential and non-residential property values. The committee was chaired by Ms. Becky Heron, a member of the Durham Board of Commissioners and delegate to the Triangle J Council of Governments. And of course, a copy of this report is being circulated among the delegates to review. It's a great example of an organization's work in bringing the region together around land use planning. Very cool. We'll pass that around. And again, thanks to past Chair Gant for introducing the idea of remembering our roots as a committee, as a group, as a council.
Well, thank you for keeping it going too, hopefully.
By all means, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with that brings us into review of the agenda. I hope you all do have an agenda in front of you. In 3, we have a little bit of recognition to do of some folks in the room. We've got past Chair Brett Gant. We've got past First Vice Chair Randy Haven O'Donnell. And then it'll bring us into a presentation from the North Carolina Children's Hospital. We also have in 5 a year in review and member survey. As part of the consent agenda, we have some draft minutes and a contract approval for Exalt Engineering. Skipping down to 9, we'll do a little around the region, a couple of thoughts from around the region. Chair's report, Executive Director's report. Let's see if we have any other business, and God willing, by 8 o'clock, we're going to adjourn this thing. All right?
Move approval of the agenda. Susan Evans.
Second, Randy Haven O'Donnell.
All right. And with that, do we need a roll call vote for the agenda?
It's under your approval.
We'll do it. Hey, we'll approve the agenda. That's right. Very good. Very good. So that does bring us into some recognition of some fine folks. Past Chair Brett Gant. We'll walk over. Right over here.
I'll come to you too.
No. In fact, we're going to bring you up front.
Okay. All right.
Do it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Speech.
Yeah. So, you've met this man. This is like optimism packaged in a human being, right? When Brett tells you about something, it could be the most horrible thing in the world, the worst idea possible. You'd be like, you know what? That's awesome. The smile, the energy, and again, the desire to not only have us come together more, to learn more about this council with going back and understanding and studying our roots. But again, that optimism that says we can look at our past and we can all go forward together. And that is something that has been inspiring to me. I know in our meetings, we've all looked up and been like, this man is enjoying this. Even if we're not, we're like, this man loves it. And I very much appreciate your willingness to do the work, your energy behind the work, your enthusiasm. It's been a blessing to me because probably if you didn't have all that energy and enthusiasm, I'd have been like, you want me to do what? No way. So thank you. Thank you very much. We do have a couple of fantastic people in the audience with us here today that are probably a major reason for Brett being here. His parents are here today. Do you want to introduce them?
Yes, this is my mom, Cherise Gant, and my dad, David Gant.
Yeah.
My dad was the county commissioner in Buncombe County for 20 years and Land to Sky Regional Council president for several of those. Ooh. So he's the one that gave me the inspiration to kind of maybe run for political office as well as.
That's inspirational itself, and that's absolutely fantastic. I'm out here to celebrate you with us. Do you have anything else to say to the group?
Yes, I just I want to say
You should ask.
It's been a pleasure and an honor being the chair of this board. One of the greatest things has been to get to know the staff better, the staff over here, and then Lee, especially in this time of kind of a lot of uncertainty with the federal grants and changes that we're having to kind of weather. I think they've done a great job holding things together and moving us forward in that way. And then I mentioned this in the executive committee meeting if you were there. But I've really gotten to really enjoy getting to know the region a lot better, getting to know the local governments a lot better, getting to travel to Moore County several times to get increase our membership of this board. And the things that you guys are doing in the local governments is really just amazing. If there's headwinds, let's say from certain places, the local governments are pushing through those and building amazing facilities and have amazing staffs and all that. So thank you guys for your service and thank you for being on this board as well.
Man, give my hand. And we have our past first vice chair, Randy Haven O'Donnell. Can I get you to sneak up here?
Sure.
Randy, when I first met her a couple of years ago now, coming into Central Pines, the first serious conversation that we had, I was like, oh, wow, this is fight the power right here. And I love it. Because quite frankly, I'm gonna be super honest here. We've gotten to a point in government where we really need to pay attention. And Randy is not one that minces words. She's not going to pretend she likes something if she doesn't like it at all. And she's going to be straight up with you all the time. And that's a quality that we miss, particularly in government, often. It's inspirational to me to remember that sometimes you don't need to bend over backwards to give everybody high fives and hugs. Sometimes you just need to tell the truth. And I appreciate that. So thank you very much for that guidance in life. And would you like to say anything?
Well, I guess I would say this about the Central Pines and Forerunner Triangle J. I first got involved with Triangle J through Judy Kincaid, which is going back, way back, and appreciating what the role of a regional body of delegates and a regional body of leaders can do. As part of Leadership Triangle under Jim Goodman, we really work to knit together corporate leaders and community leaders, but it is the CPRC that has the opportunity to bring together the electeds that makes it unique. And as Byron was saying, in this time, more than ever, it's critical to have a body that community, municipal leaders can, and accounting leaders can come to, not only to ferret out resources, but to get guidance. So thank you all, and keep up the good work.
All right. And that brings us to a presentation from the fine folks of the North Carolina Children's Hospital. So if you would, take it away. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, member of the delegates, for having us this evening. My name is Andy Willis, and I'm with the North Carolina Children's Hospital. You may have read a little bit about it in the various media outlets over the last few weeks. I appreciate your work so much. I told the mayor today, I first met Lee Wortley in graduate school a couple of years ago. We were in grad school together in Chapel Hill. And both had a passion for local government. I was a long time ago a county planner and a county manager in a very rural county in North Carolina, Pamlico County. 11,000 people in 1894, 11,600 people in 2020. Not much growth, but I understand rural North Carolina, and I got my start in rural North Carolina government, and it's still kind of close to home to me because that's where the real work is done. So thank you for everything you do on a regional basis for all of our local governments. I'm going to take just a little bit of time tonight. I know you got a busy agenda. I want to talk to you about a very exciting project, not just for the region, but for the state of North Carolina. This is something that we've been working on for 10 to 12 years at UNC Health and at Duke Health. And it's finally come into fruition. And it will be an important piece of infrastructure for not only the region, but for the state of North Carolina. And everyone talks about how we're going to take care of kids and the clinical care, but this is a piece of health infrastructure that our state and our region does not have. And I'd like to tell you a few things about what we're doing and get you hopefully excited about it as well. And please stop me with any questions. So, what is the intent of North Carolina Children's? Everyone's talking about the big new hospital we're going to build in Apex, North Carolina, but that's only a small portion of what we're doing with this big project. We're seeking to kind of create a new health enterprise for the entire state of North Carolina to improve the health and well-being of the kids of our state. And let me tell you a few things about our state right now that we're not very proud of, but we can do a lot better. This is why we're doing it. This is a little girl. This is not just a can slide. This is Charlie. And Charlie is from Salisbury, North Carolina. And if you read the kind of refrain, this is from a Facebook post from her mom. I'll give you a couple of seconds to read that, about their desire to get help from the community. So if you read that a second, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Charlie. So Charlie, at 9 months old, was diagnosed with a very rare blood disorder. One out of every 200,000 births in this country has this blood disorder. She went to Brenner's Children's Hospital, great children's hospital in Wake Forest. She went to UNC Health and Duke, and we could not take care of her. Then, since then, she's been at Cincinnati Children's, and you see here now she's at Texas Children's. She's gone through 9 bouts of chemotherapy. She's got another probably 25 to 26 bouts of chemotherapy. And she's battling and she's fighting hard, and her parents are fighting hard for her too. But if you read the piece here, they're not fighting only the cancer. They're having to fight everything else. The father has had to give up his job because they've had to move to Texas. The mother is working part-time. They were a upper middle class family. They're now on Medicaid because they cannot afford the care that they're having to get for their daughter. So any of you that have children, you would do anything like this for a kid. The sad thing about this is we could not take care of Charlie in North Carolina. North Carolina is one of the fastest growing states in the country, as you all know. We're fourth fastest growing state in the country. Last year, we sent 5,100 kids on Medicaid outside of the state to get acute care for their child. In my mind, that's a little bit deplorable. That doesn't even count the paid customers that we send out. Children's Flight of Hope, which is based here in North Carolina, flew more children out of North Carolina to receive care in other states. We have 9 wonderful children's hospitals in the state of North Carolina. Duke and Chapel Hill, I work at Chapel Hill. We have a great one there. They're embedded in adult hospitals. So when you take a child to Duke or Chapel Hill and they need an anesthesiologist to help them get the draw blood or help them get pain medicine, it's usually an adult anesthesiologist doing the work. It's not a pediatric anesthesiologist. So we're exporting our kids outside the state. And what does that mean from a talent standpoint? When we're training pediatricians, they want to go work at the best places in the country. Our job is not to put out of business any of these hospitals. Duke, UNC, Wake Med, First Health, we're working with Cape Fear Valley, but it's kind of to enhance their programs. But we want the kids to stay in North Carolina for this large, these very chronic and hard conditions to care for. I'll give you a little stat. Children's Hospital of Philadelphia is arguably the best children's hospital in the country, number 1 or 2. Big complex, been around for 75 years. In 2023, 26% of their patients were from the state of North Carolina. So we're exporting all the care of these really sick kids out of state. It costs a lot of money, especially for Medicaid. Those of you in the county departments of social services, you know what that has impacts on your county budgets. The last bullet here, the mental health crisis, you all deal with that on a daily basis in your communities. You know, you send the kids to our hospitals. We have to board them. We have no places to do that. North Carolina, sad to say, we're one of 4 states in the country that does not have an acute care mental health hospital for adolescents. Mississippi has 2. South Dakota's got 1. Montana's got 1. We don't have any in this state. And it's not a Democrat-Republican thing. It's been failed of our children for a long time that we've not done this. What I'm going to talk about on our facility, we're going to try to address some of those issues going forward. Freestanding hospitals, a little bit different. We've got 9 great children's hospitals in the state, but they're embedded in an adult healthcare system. This is a hospital, has anybody been to a freestanding children's hospital? Where it's just completely children. So I think, Lee, you probably have. There's 30 around the country. They're exclusively focused on children. You notice it as soon as you walk in the front doors. This is nationwide. When you walk in, it's like walking into a children's museum. But it's all focused on the families. And remember, these are not kids that go with fish hooks in their fingers. Usually these hospitals are built and the healthcare systems around them are built where families have to go and stay, unfortunately, 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 months. They're back and forth. We all know about St. Jude's. You've heard about those type of hospitals. That's what we're trying to do here in North Carolina. There we go. Yeah, look, it's going fast now. It's going fast now. Hold on a second. Duke and UNC have been talking about this for the last 12, 13 years. And during the pandemic, we really got serious about talking about how we could do this together. We are fierce competitors on the athletic field. We're fierce competitors in the academic setting. But one area we've always worked closely on is with each other on pediatric care. So anytime you send a child to UNC or a child to Duke, and it's a complex case, you can rest assured they're probably talking to their colleague over at Duke University and vice versa. So we decided to come together and do this project together. What does it mean? It means that we're creating a history of long-standing collaboration, but it's a big deal. Pediatric business at UNC Health and at Duke is about a $500 million enterprise for each entity. We will shut those units down and we will put them into the new hospital. We'll backfill those places at Duke and UNC, but pediatrics will come out of UNC and Duke and we'll build the hospital together. So the teams there you see with the governor and the Senate and the House leadership have all been supportive of how we're going to come together and do this kind of a selfless manner. Future home, we have announced a site.
Check reported ahead on I-40 East.
There we go. I guess it's doing a directional thing. We looked at sites all around the Greater Triangle region. We had 25 sites in 4 counties that we were looking at. Part of the legislation said it had to be built. We're building it on behalf of the state of North Carolina, that it had to be in the Triangle region. So we looked at a number of sites. We had a very robust, probably 2-year process in trying to site the piece. One of the keys that we wanted to make sure that this was a regional attraction. Putting it in downtown Raleigh, no offense to my Raleigh friends in the room, would not have been good because you don't have transportation and infrastructure to get there. And we wanted a large campus type setting. To find 250 to 300 acres, we had to kind of look where we could find it with an existing transportation infrastructure. So this is on 540 and US 1, right off the toll road at the Viridia Parkway exit. As you can see, I think in the next picture we'll show comprehensive campus. This is I think we'll get to this. Let's see. There we go. 230-acre campus. The middle building is the large 500-bed children's hospital. We will have 100 beds of mental health, which would be a dedicated hospital, ambulatory surgery center, as well as a physician office building in phase 1. Eventually, we will move all of pediatric research outside of Durham and Chapel Hill to this campus. So think of it much like a university campus. That's why we needed the acreage there. We're proud to say that between Duke and UNC, and you'll see a slide later in this, Duke is #1 in the country in pediatric research right now. UNC is ranked about 14th or 15th. And part of the research enterprise is this. It's great for clinical trials and economic development. My friends in Johnston County, we've already met with Novo Nordisk because they do a lot of clinical trials for children. Almost every clinical trial in this country starts with a pediatric patient, if you did not know that. So they are, Emily saw some of them yesterday, they're excited about this type of project because it just enhanced their economic development, their economic benefit. As you can see, we wanted space to grow, we needed research, but we wanted a park-like setting. The other hospital I'll talk to you about, Philadelphia, it's in Philadelphia. I mean, it's crowded. You go to Boston Children's, one of the best in the country. I mean, it's on 5 acres of property, but it's up 25, 30 stories. That's not North Carolina, and that's not how we plan to develop this project. That just gives you an artist rendering. We're beginning to do some architectural rendering, so it will be a nice facility. This is a $3 billion project, construction project. It's kind of daunting to see. It will outlive me. You see how old I am. It will take us 7 to 10 years to construct the main hospital. Everyone asks, can you do it build quicker if you get more money? Not the case. We don't have the construction infrastructure in this state to build it that fast. They're building 2 other big hospitals in the country right now. One is at Dallas, Texas Children's. They just finished the new hospital in Atlanta. So this is the premier hospital that's being built in the country probably over the next 10 to 15 years. And it will require immense amount. We'll talk about economic development in a minute, about how many local folks we're going to hire and how many people that will be hired during the construction phase. Regional access, we talked to you a little bit about that. The only people that are upset that it's not going to be in Chapel Hill or Durham are the people that currently work in Chapel Hill and Durham. Now they're going to have to drive. But we think this is great from a regional aspect, not just for our employee base, but also for the patients. As you can see, they can come from Wilmington relatively easily, and by air, RDU, we had to be relatively close to the airport. This will be the largest academic children's hospital between Cincinnati Children's and Texas Children's in the United States. So it will draw people from all over the country, if not all over the world. But our focus is North Carolinians first. I talked a little bit about just the hospital are working to develop a network. Sad to say at UNC Health, pediatrics in rural North Carolina, we've been closing operations there because you can't get pediatricians. I mean, it's just that simple. It doesn't matter how many you graduate, it's hard to find them. That's happening all across our state. So one thing we're trying to do is develop a network. We've had meetings with Wake Med, ECU Health, Mission Health, even in the far west. We've been talking to them about how we can do this together because all these institutions are sending their patients out of state too. They'd rather keep them in the state of North Carolina. We've got meetings scheduled with First Health, Kern Health, and Cape Fear Valley. We've already met with Cape Fear Valley and others around North Carolina. So how we can build this network of pediatricians around the state of North Carolina. We don't want to own the pediatricians. We don't want to own the local jobs, but we want them to have a referral network for this large infrastructure piece that we're building. Economic impact analysis. Second largest economic development project in the state's history, behind the Toyota plant in Randolph County. 8,400 direct jobs, average salary once we open the doors, $165,000 to $170,000 a year. 9,800 indirect construction jobs over the next 10 years. Gives you some size and scope. 780 million in annual direct wages, 26.8 billion in state GDP over the next 20 years. And the big one is most economic development projects can't say this. This will generate 1.1 billion in general fund taxes for the state of North Carolina. This does not include the local aspects of the taxes, but this will go straight back to the general fund of the state of North Carolina. So where do we aim to be? Where do we plan to be? These are arguably the top 5 children's hospitals in the country. Cincinnati Children's, Boston Children's, Texas Children's, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and Nationwide Children's, which is in Columbus, Ohio. You can see their rankings. They have ranked specialties, patient revenues, about 1.1 billion to 2.5 billion, usually discharged between 30 and 20,000, where we you can see around the country. And then you see the beds. If you just, the last column is North Carolina Children's. If you take Duke and UNC as we currently exist now, no growth, but take them out of each one of them now, we're already in the top 5 in the country. If you add a 2% inflation factor to it, we will be ranked number 3, year 3 after we open the doors. One of the main things you don't see on this research revenues, we are right now only 3rd in research behind Texas Children's and Boston Children's, with Duke and UNC currently. So coming together, we can do it better. We're competing now, we're 10 miles apart. So it shows you how we think our citizens, what they deserve. And we've got some leaders in the state that kind of agree with us. Project timeline, large project. We don't break ground until, sorry, Mr. Gant, 2027, late 2027 is 2 years to plan a project like this. Apex has been wonderful to deal with, and we're proud to be there. We're proud to call them home. We won't break ground until 27, 28. We will start with the mental health hospital because that's the most pressing need. It's a less complex project. It'll take us 3 years to build that. And then we'll start the large project in 2032. We hope to open the doors of the hospital. Hard to conceptualize a project that long, right? We're still working on funding. We've asked the legislature for $320 million. They have graciously approved most of that. A little bit of it's now hung up in the politics of Raleigh. The legislature has tentatively said over the next 10 years, they would fund another $700 million in appropriations for it. We have committed at Duke and UNC Health, we're going to philanthropically raise 1.2 to 1.5 billion philanthropically. We will announce in the next week or so, we've already had a singular gift of $50 million from an individual. One thing that we're amazed at is North Carolina. It doesn't seem like the home I grew up in. The wealth that you all have in your region, we've had some studies done, is quite amazing, but people have not had things to give to. And these are folks that are not tied to Duke or UNC, but they've had a child that has been sick or a grandchild that has been sick. So we feel confident we'll be able to raise the $1 billion, and then we're going to go to the debt markets for the other $1 billion. And the banking community in North Carolina has said that they would, this is a project that's too big to fail. We're hoping we can work with the state treasurer on some of that to where we can get some debt financing like you all do in your local governments. This is a children's hospitals. You don't say it too loudly. They are a profit-making enterprise because you get to negotiate at different rates with the commercial payers than big hospitals do. One of the top 5 children's hospitals average their margin per year is about 7 to 8%. When an adult care system like at UNC Chapel Hill, it's about 2.5 to 3%. So there's so few of them around the country. So you have to negotiate with payers and the providers. So our modeling shows that this will be a financially stable enterprise, and that's what the legislature and the governor wanted to see before we went too far down the road. They didn't want to have to fund it with recurring dollars and taxpayer dollars. They're okay with doing it as an infrastructure piece, but they didn't want to have to continue to fund it. So we had to prove our case to the legislature with that, and that's why the Senate did the initial appropriation and the House signed onto it. Long ways to go. So we're excited and be glad to take any questions. I think I took too long, Mr. Mayor.
No, you did great. That's fantastic information. It's amazing. Do we have any questions around the room?
If I could you recycle the slide back to where you were talking about the direct and indirect jobs?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Right there. Thank you. Just need a couple numbers.
And we're happy to share this with your team. We'll make sure Lee's got it. He can hand it out. This is all public information. This was done, this is not a UNC Health or Duke Health under. This was done by the Department of Commerce, and RTI did the for us as an economic development project.
How many of those, I'm sorry, how many of those 8,400 direct jobs are jobs already of folks that are going to move over from UNC and Duke? Do you know?
Varies. The timeline is so long. So when a physician complains to me and says, we live in Chapel Hill, now we're gonna have to drive to Apex. Well, you're 60 some years old. Are you gonna be still practicing 10 years from now? If you want to, great. So right now we employ about, at Chapel Hill, about 200 pediatric specialists. Duke's about 200. That gives you some idea. We always talk about physicians. The big piece in those 8,400 jobs is the allied health professionals, the nurses, the anesthesia specialists. It's the support staff. They need affordable places to live, right? And that's why we wanted to get a little bit out of the Durham and Chapel Hill. Can't say that with my Durham folks to us and Chapel Hill folks, but we have people now in Chapel Hill in our pediatric unit. They drive from Kinston every day to work.
Do you have concerns about finding those folks, though? It sounds like a lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
It's a ways out, but I get that.
And one thing we're working with, Wake Tech is building a campus right across the street from us. And it's going to be a focused allied health campus. Yes, we worry about that, especially in the mental health areas, because that is the hardest area to find even mental health physicians. And that sad story, Nationwide Children's just built a big mental health children's hospital. It's 200 beds. They've had to mothball the top 2 floors because they can't find mental health providers, nurses, and physicians to serve that. It's a difficult population to serve. We have time to work on it. Do you worry about it? Yes. But I think that's a regional, statewide approach we're going to have to address. And we need it where good transportation where people can come from the east and people come from the west. Very few of our folks now that work in the main hospital at Chapel Hill live in Chapel Hill. They live outward. I mean, so.
Another aspect about the 8,400 jobs is that whatever does transfer over, we will backfill what's existing in the hospitals
That's
with
right.
additional adult inpatients. So that will create those additional jobs. So
Right.
it will be 8,400 net new jobs when you look at the
There'll be
backfill. and the
pediatrician
transfers.
specialists that go over there, but those are net new jobs.
So over the next few years, it's going to be an intentional way-based building.
Yes.
As the project is being built.
You got it. Yes, sir. I've done the easy part. The hard part's going to be getting the two faculties at Duke and Chapel Hill together.
That's the miracle.
That's where the work is going to be, right? But so far it's good. If it had been a group of heart surgeons, it'd been really hard. But pediatricians, they love each other.
As a sick child, cancer survivor, small business owner parents, it was a burden on us to be sick. The facilities look great, and it's exciting that it's, you know, such a great campus. It's wooded, it has a lot of amenities. It looks like even outside the facility itself. This is, it was a potential for us to have to go to somewhere like St. Jude because it was a burden, but our community came together for us.
One thing we didn't mention, and the rest of my team tonight, is that the Ronald McDonald House, we will have probably the world's largest Ronald McDonald House on the facility. That's what we're planning for now. So you know that burden and that strain, and it's and we hear more of those stories every time we speak now. Emily, we find someone that has had a relative or a child that has had to do that type of traveling. That's the real burden. We want to deliver care close to home. We don't want to take any of ECU's patients, but we want to be available if they need to come. They can come here for 2 hours rather than getting on a plane going 6 hours away. So.
And to add to that, I'd say part of what we're looking at, and one of the reasons we looked for such a large campus, is what are those supportive services for families over time? Like, what land can we lend to hotels, to apartments? We've had conversations with children's museums and other type of amenities. So as families who are there for a long time, there are things for them to do on campus other than just being in the hospital with their sick child, which is the
Yes.
Right. There are a lot of trailing siblings that come, right? So how can we support the whole family with this campus, and also make it not so children?
Our initial gift will be from a gentleman from Charlotte who is funding our Family Resource Center. It's to take care of the family. And his point was, I went somewhere, I had to get my clothes washed. I didn't know where to get my clothes washed. I didn't know how to, because they're there for, weeks at the time sometimes. Largest state in the country without a freestanding children's hospital. Keep that in the back of your mind. Ohio has 4.
Yeah, Andy, thank you for this presentation. It's excellent. Yeah, I've worked with the UNC Children's Hospital with Just Trying It.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm familiar with how community gets involved. How does the direction of our national policies, how do you think that's going to impact this campus planning?
Well, right now, the good thing on the NIH money, everybody's talking about NIH money. The feds have not cut NIH money to pediatrics. That has been kind of in sacrosanct. It's always subject to change on the research side. The Medicaid piece, frankly, when the state of North Carolina expanded Medicaid, it expanded into a different population than children. So the state was already covering children in the Medicaid rolls. So that's not much of a difference to us. We modeled a very conservative operating model for our operations, and we took out all expansion and all HASP funding in our model, and it's still a profitable enterprise. The state added HASP, the federal government's going to take HASP away. And so we feel confident where we're at with the feds. When you talk about children, it's a little different, and it tugs at the heartstrings a little bit more. So Washington's pretty much left the national children's hospitals around the country.
Thank you.
But do we worry about it? Yes. I mean, just like y'all worry about it.
Any other questions? Mr. Willis, thank you.
We thank you for your time.
This has been very wonderful.
Let's get the word out. We'll let you continue your business.
This is fantastic business right here, so thank you. All right. That does bring us into, looks like we don't have any public hearings to worry about, so we've got a year in review and member survey to talk about. Ms. Keegan's gonna take that away.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be with you tonight. I have a tough act to follow, but some exciting news from CPRC to share with you. So the past few months of board meetings, you've had project spotlights. And this month, I get to sort of brag on behalf of all of our staff. So in front of you, you have a year in review document. If you're online, we'll make sure to share this out digitally. This is just an opportunity. You are our members and you're owners of our organization. And so it's really important to us to have a chance to really remind you of the work we're doing on your behalf and also get to hear from you about the type of work that you would like to see in the future. So I'm going to just highlight a couple of things that are in the packets that are in front of you, and then happy to take any questions as well. So this past year, one of the things that we're really proud of was the launch of our regional data center. I'm not sure if you've had the chance to go onto this website and take a look at it, but I really encourage you to. One of our key organizational principles is data-driven decision-making, which I think aligns with a lot of your organizations, really looking to understand how data can make your jobs a little bit easier. And so we finally have launched a regional data center, which is really meant to be a combination of two things. One, a place for us to put our own analysis and data sources for you to be able to see and have that analysis in front of you. And also a one-stop shop for other data sources that might already exist from some key partners. We're very much aware that there are a lot of places to find data. And if you're not someone who works in that space all the time, it can be really difficult to find that. So our regional data center intends to be sort of that one-stop shop. We have a great principal planner on our staff, Carol Fuller. If you are in our RPO, you may have interacted with her. And she also has a blog in there, provides some analysis on some key data sets. Most recently, she did a great blog on the low-income housing tax credit, I think is what it's formally called. So there's some really great work on there for you to use and for your staff to use. So we were excited to launch that. Another area that obviously is a key part of being a member is our technical assistance work. And so we're really trying to make sure that you have a sense of the type of technical assistance both that you are asking for from our organization and the type of work that we can do on your behalf. So on the slide and in the document that you all are holding in front of you is a list of all of the areas that we received technical assistance requests from this last year. We're really proud that we had almost 3/4 of our membership engage us in some formal contract for technical assistance of some sort. I'd love to have that be 100%. If you don't know what to do and how to engage us in that, you can reach out anytime. But we have a full list here of the sorts of work that our staff does on your behalf. And then last but not least, we finally launched our conference center. So you all are sitting in it. If you're virtual, you're not able to be here, but hopefully you'll hear before. And this is a really great opportunity. I think now this was a work in progress for several years during COVID, and we finally had the chance to open this space, which is new, an actual conference venue, some facilities in the other space, as well as offices. And we've really been trying to encourage folks to know that this space is yours as well as ours. So we are really proud to have a lot of our communities using it for their own retreats. We have staff that sometimes for other local governments will come here and actually do work if they're in between meetings. So we're really proud to have launched that space and encourage you to continue using it. It's available to you at no charge. So those are just a couple of highlights. There's much more in the packet. One thing that we are asking from everyone on the board is to please take our member survey. So in addition to obviously wanting you to know what we've been doing, we also want to hear from you about where we could be more effective in helping you and the region in the year ahead. It's a very short survey. We're not trying to take up a ton of your time. It gives you a chance to just tell us, are you satisfied? What areas are most important to you? Did you know your local government was a member of Central Pines? We hope everyone says yes, but sometimes they might say no. So questions like that. So we really encourage you to take this if you have a chance. And Beth will be mad if I don't include this. We always like to have friendly competition. So if you're wondering what organization has responded the most to our member survey, it's Chatham County. So go Chatham. Second place is Wake County. Third place, we actually have quite a tie: Durham, Lee County, Orange County, and Raleigh. But there's 2 weeks left. So any organization can give us the most responses of the member survey.
So can I just ask? Yeah. So that's not intended just for us. That's for like our staff members
as well. Yes.
Who've really interacted with y'all.
Yes.
Okay.
So we strongly encourage you to send to your staff. We have been putting it out on our channels as well.
Yeah.
And with the key groups, but it always means a lot if it comes from you to your staff. So feel free to share with managers, department heads, anyone that might have interacted with us. We'd love to hear from them as well.
I was going to put him on the spot when he comes to see us, but I'll put it in the survey too.
You bet.
No, I'm glad I asked because, we don't, I don't interact with who is doing the work as much as the staff who's also doing the work. So.
Yeah. No, it's a great question, and we would love to hear from both. And in the survey, it has you indicate what your role is, so it gives us a chance to also see, based on the type of role you are, where you see trends and how you feel about our organization. Any other questions?
Do you have extra copies of this to take?
We do. So we'll put them by the corner when you're heading out if you'd like to take some.
You're going to send a digital.
And we also have a digital.
It's actually on our website.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And it's on our social media. I've been trying to put it everywhere. So.
And we'll share it. We can share it.
Yeah, we'll share it again.
Link to fill out the survey. So.
Very much.
Thank you. It is. It's very nice. This is wonderful work. Wonderful work. All right, that brings us, we got a consent agenda to look at. We have draft minutes from May 28, 2025, and we have a contract for approval from Exalt Engineering. Is there anything to discuss related to that contract?
No, just if anybody would like to pull it off the consent, you can, but it's presented for approval. It's pretty routine.
Would anybody like to pull either one of these items off of consent? With that, I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
First, second.
So who was the motion?
Motion will give Ferguson. Second.
To Forest College Springs.
Forest. And with that, I guess we need a roll call.
Yes, and I'm gonna go backwards this time. So we're gonna start with Zebulon.
Oh, that's gonna mess us
Hey, hey.
Keep it interesting, yes.
Wow, thanks. Yeah, in favor.
All right. Wilson's Mills.
Nebula.
Always at the end.
Whispering Pines.
Aye.
Wendell. Wake Forest.
Slowinski, Wake Forest, aye.
Wake County.
Susan Evans, Wake County, aye.
Bass. Taylortown. Southern Pines. Smithfield.
Sorry, I couldn't get off mute. Andy Moore, Smithfield, aye.
Thank you. Siler City. Selma.
Town of Selma, Byron McAllister, aye.
Sanford.
Rebecca Salmon, City of Sanford, I.
Rollsville.
Ronnie Kern, Rollsville, aye.
Robbins. Raleigh.
Mitchell Silver, Raleigh, I.
Princeton,
Stacy Johnson, Town of Princeton, I.
Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. Pinehurst,
Pinehurst, Jeff Morgan, I.
Pine Bluff,
Kerry Williams, Town of Pine Bluff, I.
Pine Level, Orange County,
Jean Hamilton, Orange County, I.
Morrisville, Moore County, Micro,
Katie Garcia, Micro, I.
Lee County,
Lee County, Kirk Smith, I.
Nightdale, Kenley, Johnston County,
Rich Lauder, Johnston County, I.
Holly Springs,
Tim Forrest, Holly Springs, I.
Hillsborough,
Kathleen Ferguson, Hillsborough, I.
Garner, Fuquay Varina, Foxfire, Durham County,
Michelle Burton, Durham County, I.
City of Durham,
Deidreana Freeman, I. City of Durham.
Clayton, Chatham County,
Amanda Robertson, Chatham, I.
Cary,
Jennifer Robinson, Carrie, I.
Carthage, Carrboro,
Randy Human O'Donnell, I.
Broadway,
Town of Broadway, Thomas Beal, I.
Benson, Archer Lodge, Apex,
Apex, I.
Anger,
Chevelle Harmon, Town of Manager, I.
Aberdeen.
Will Mullaney, Aberdeen, I.
We're good.
Sounds like we've got a consent agenda out of the way. That brings us into around the region. This is I had a different plan for around the region when I walked into the room today. But the conversation with the Children's Hospital switched my gears real fast. You mentioned North Carolina ranking 36 in the country in children's health and an F for mental health and birth outcomes. Mayor Moore, I know you're online. If I get anything wrong in this conversation, I'm going to be talking about something that happened in Smithfield, North Carolina today.
Hi, you read my mind, Mayor. I was
Yes,
going to
sir.
mention the exact same thing. But go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead, sir.
piggyback on this for me. The school had an incident this morning. I've got the shell of the story, so I might not have it perfect. Don't take it as gospel. But a young man came to school with an airsoft rifle that looked incredibly real. Ran through the metal detector, which thankfully the metal detector went off. Ran into the gymnasium, which is right by the entrance where the metal detector is. And got to the gym and was stopped by an SRO who had to draw his weapon. Now, this SRO, and I got to sadly enough give props to Smithfield, fantastic SRO, a town of Smithfield employee police officer that helps man the school, drew his weapon and saw that there were kids behind this child, did not fire, but ran over and tackled this young man. No one was hurt. Young man was taken into custody. The police response time from the town of Smithfield, from what I understand, was miraculously amazing, and all was well. And beyond that, the school went on to have a school day. But with that being said, the understanding from conversations about the child is that the child had been bullied, might have had some real deep-seated issues personally, And the understanding was that the child might have wanted that officer to actually shoot. Mental health in our adolescents. Mayor Moore, did I cover that close?
Yeah, definitely, Mayor. Not a great topic to have to discuss, but it's a reality in today's society, and it's just like you said, mental health is part of the picture as well, just as physical health is. So, thank goodness nothing tragic happened. And like you said, the response time from not only Smithfield, but many surrounding agencies there today, we, the crisis was averted. So thank goodness, and thanks to everybody involved. And Mayor, I believe your wife actually works there, right?
She does. My wife was there, and my oldest daughter at her second day of ninth grade.
Yeah. So just thank goodness everyone is okay.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. But your squad in your town, fantastic response to the situation. But with that, there was a very different situation in Minnesota today. Regionally, we are really going to have to start thinking about mental health, particularly for our youth. Because we're seeing younger and younger, we're getting more and more sideways in our society. So it was a wash of relief to hear Mr. Willis discuss a children's hospital that is going to have a large focus on mental health. Have we seen in our communities, and as part of around the region, have we run into mental health problems in our communities? Are we all experiencing where our police officers all of a sudden have to become therapists? And what have you seen in your community, and maybe some thoughts on what we can do to start stemming that tide today and getting some systems in place that can really improve our mental health as a society for the future? Around the region, thoughts? Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think a lot of it's education. I faced a mental health crisis in my own family some years ago, fortunately like 10 years ago now. But totally caught my husband and I by surprise. Didn't know it when we saw it, and never saw it before, didn't know what to expect. And I think for me, I'm really glad that young man is okay, the one that came in with that plastic gun.
It was an airsoft rifle, so it was metal.
So, okay.
Yeah,
But I'm really glad he's okay, because it sounds like he was reaching out for help himself. And we see that happen all over the country way too many times. And they're not okay. They don't live, others don't live. And it's a horrible, horrible situation. And it's just sad all the way around. So I think a lot of it is education, so people know it when they see it. And, and it's not just about our young people that are at risk of suicide. It is a mental health, mental crisis. It's the gamut. And I would say from my personal experience, a lot of it is just education, because I didn't recognize it. My husband.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll get emotional when I talk about this, so I apologize.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
may I speak? I'm online.
We've got Mr. Slawski is about to share first, and then we'll get to you, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mental health for me has always been a very serious topic. I was a suicidal youth, especially in college. So in this position, and this kind of goes into the rest of it, I could get into my whole story, and you guys don't want to see me cry for a half an hour. It's very much not pretty. But what we have done in Wake Forest, and I'll tell you, it started with a phone call from me to my town manager. I just had an update meeting yesterday, so I actually have our little cards here. We started a mental wellness fair 2 years ago. It kind of piggybacking on all this, Drew Brown, our town staff, who kind of heads it up. We have a focus this year on adolescents and athletes. We have a keynote speaker talking about social media and screen time and the effect it has on the adolescent brain and how that relates to mental wellness at a young age. You know, as I was growing up, it was all about, you know, you get your therapy, you get your pills, and you're good. We are learning more and more now, and I will agree, the education has been lacking on this. The resources have been lacking. I'm going to brag on my town, and it is all my town staff. It has very little to do with me. But we have trained our staff in crisis counseling. We have worked with our police and fire departments to make sure that they have all the resources they need, because they handle things day in and day out. So it doesn't take a lot to get started. It takes a commitment, just from a few people in a town to really make a difference in a region. So again, just if anyone ever has any questions about what we've done in Wake Forest and how that can translate, I can make any resource available to you. I will say that I know our Congresswoman Deborah Ross, as well as Senator Tillis, have been very supportive of what we are doing. There is money out there in the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act for organizations looking to do mental health awareness, looking to do firearm safety. There is so much I learned in the last year about all of this. It's just a matter of we didn't know it was there. So when you ask the questions, you find out what's kind of going on. So again, that's my little brag on the town of Wake Forest. But it gets better little by little, but it's taking far too long for us to get to a point where we're good. So I would encourage anyone who wants to get your towns involved, get your counties involved, get your elected officials across the region involved. And really just take that first step, because it kind of just takes off from there.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Ms. Ferguson, you got the floor.
Thank you. You know, mental health for me too is very personal. I won't go into details, but one of the things we're doing, I think it's important, are the diversion centers. And apologies for dog barking in the background. But first and foremost, you know, it used to be where, you know, in terms of what we're hearing day in, day out, it's that availability of firearms. And while at the municipal level, our hands are tied. But where it used to be where it was harder, now it's so easy to pick up a firearm. And a firearm, it's so many cases, it's not reversible. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. It's more than education. It's access, it's availability, it's treatment, it's things, but you know, for areas where we have diversion, where we have also the diversion courts, the alternative court system. Orange County is very strong, and I know it's also strong elsewhere, but getting that true help before criminalizing, before there's harm and injury. You know, the Narcan availability to reverse those overdoses and getting help and treatment. And as municipal officials, as well as county, we have the availability not only to spread word of where these resources are available, but also to support some of these other areas where, while we cannot control firearms, we can support these other programs.
Amen. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Baxter online, Ms. Shannon Baxter.
Hi, thanks a lot. So a couple of things that we've done in Zebulon that have been very successful is we launched a pilot program last year running a couple of social work folks that would respond to calls, especially involving youth. And we just had tremendous success. And we are now in year 2. We are actually, we had interns last year. The program was so well received, and we saw such success with the lowering of recidivism and with true help to families in need that we went ahead and put positions in the budget. We also, out of our regional center, do youth mental health training. And so I think that those two things, while certainly not a solution, have really worked well in our community.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Mitchell Silver.
Good evening, everyone. I don't think I have solutions, but I'm going to share with you just some thoughts. The first is I always want to distinguish between mental illness and mental health. Far too often we commingle them together. Mental illness is chronic. It requires severe treatment, whether it's schizophrenia, bipolar, and this is the most severe cases that require medical attention to treat it. Mental health is different. It's more behavioral and requires a different level of intervention. In both cases, these are not popular topics to talk about. So young people tend to hold it in and not share. Adults tend to hold it in and not share. I was commissioner of New York City Parks during COVID, and we saw firsthand how we had to help the citizens deal with trauma and what they were going through isolation. A lot of mental health challenges, and people were very intentional about how to protect their mental health. And I can share with you from the Trauma Steward Institute some tips that people could do on a daily basis, such as protect your mornings, start the day off properly. So that's just one. The other is, it's hard for government to intervene. We have to do our part, but we have to communicate how do we create safe spaces for our children to share. Far too often, the way we raise our children, we make them avoid conflict or difficult conversations. And so as a result, when they go through hard times, we want to protect them and not let them go through the decision making about how they deal with it, how do they talk about it. So I believe we need to talk a lot more about how we deal with these issues. Like everyone else is very personal to me. My sister is mentally ill, not mental health issues, and she's been institutionalized for most of her life for the past 5 years. This is emotional to me because today is her 64th birthday, and she's been in an institution for 5 years. And so, yes, it is personal. Yes, it's something we need to do, but we do have to recognize the last point is that our young people are watching us. And we're looking at the national dysfunction, disruption, and discord, and they're watching us. We have to show them how we come together to solve problems and not villainize one another or take to violence to solve a problem. So, how we practice our daily lives as elected officials, as adults, our children are watching how we solve problems. And I have to say, what's going on right now is not the best example of how we come together to show we may have differences, but we're committed to provide a better country, a better city, a better county, a better town. And so I don't have any answers. I focus on my personal behavior of what example I want to be for young people and help them walk through these problems, but give them a safe space to share and not isolate themselves where a person will act out, whether suicide or taking a firearm or harming others, because there just wasn't a space that they can go to, a place or a space or a person they can go to where they felt it was okay to share.
Thank you, Mr. Silver, for those thoughts. Absolutely. Katie Garcia, Micro.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mitchell, for those thoughts as well. I just wanted to say, I have my oldest child was in kindergarten when COVID started, and those kids were isolated for so much of their early developmental years. I think some of the best things we can do as communities is pull those kids out of isolation by offering them after school programs, offering them weekend events. Community outreach is just like my number one goal and why I got into working for this town. So I just think, the clubs, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, anything that your town can encourage and participate in, I think it goes a lot further than you may even realize. And that's all I have to say.
Mr.
We got
Chair.
Ms. Evans in the room, Ms. Ferguson, give it just a moment. Ms. Evans?
There's obviously, as everyone has mentioned, lots and lots work needed in this space. I'll just mention a couple of small things we're doing in Wake County. As you know, there was settlement over the opioid abuse situation, that dollars came to the state and that is distributed to the counties to figure out in each county how to use those funds. And we had a community group come together, and there's several ways we're using those funds, but it was decided that trying to intervene earlier with our youth so that they don't become dependent on drugs is a goal. And so one of the things that we have done is awarded some grants to organizations in our community, like the Boys and Girls Club and the Post Center for Health. And they are using those funds to provide mental health training to teachers, parents, folks in the faith community that are willing to participate, to just help empower more our community to know how to respond when they're faced with a youth in crisis. So that's just one thing we're doing. We've also, a couple years ago, added what we call a nurse navigation unit to our emergency medical system. It's not just for mental health, but it's basically when a 911 call comes in, if it doesn't appear that it's a serious medical emergency where, someone's having a heart attack, about to die, and that kind of thing, it can get diverted to this nurse navigation line, and the person on that line can ascertain what the situation is, and sometimes it's a minor health problem, but sometimes it's a mental health problem, and she can get that person in touch with some resources quickly or get them into a facility where they need to be, rather than the emergency medical folks having to do that. So there's just a couple of things that we're trying.
Thank you. And circling back, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you, and appreciate the flexibility. A couple of things. One, having a social worker on the police force to handle, offload, the mental health issues, that has been a godsend, not only for the people they're interacting with, but also for a police force. And although our police force is 100% CIT trained, it allows them to focus where they do best and not, and where the social worker can, help where it's not, again, not a criminal issue. But one of the things I wanted to mention, the mental health legislative breakfast, if you have not attended, it is well worth it because you will get credible information. I need to make a point where mental health and mental illness, they're not distinct. It's a continuum. But you will speak not only with providers and get information on what resources are out there, but it's a chance to speak with General Assembly members who are active in the mental health arena from a legislative standpoint, and where we can have a voice. And even more important, where you're meeting others whose lives, besides ourselves, where we're impacted personally, but you're meeting others. And one of the things that is, I find still shocking to this day, is every year Governor's Place has to fight for funding. And Governor's Place is the only place in North Carolina for youth with severe mental illness can go to school and get help. Or dealing with the Medicare issues, or the dual where there's limited treatment payment, where as you know, mental illness, mental health is more than 14 days. And as local officials, the more we know and the more that we can interact with the General Assembly, the more effective we can be. And I want to mention about mental health first aid, which is offered by all of our MCO LMEs and and youth mental aid first aid. Both are excellent programs. I've been through them. If you have not, I encourage all local officials. And actually, I wish it were part of just everyday education. Well worth it. It is a full day of training. It is worth your time.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to know we have resources around the region.
Mr. Chair, I just want to add Kirk Smith, Lee County. Kathleen touched upon it. I was on my notes here. Our LME MCO, which is Trillium, Moore County and Lee County belong to that catchment area. They provide mental health first aid training, and our staff is working on it at the county level, moving people into it. They also allow for or provide crisis intervention training for law enforcement, first responders. We've even got our correctional facility personnel going through our crisis intervention training. We were able to use, as Susan said, opioid funding, placing that into a category where we incorporated with our, what is that, ARPA money that we had, revenue loss money we had set aside. We put aside $1.5 million to fund mental health issues within Lee County. So we've hired on 2 social workers with an emphasis on mental health. We have a reentry council. We started our Renew program, which is quite extensive. If you need anything, I'll get some copies for you, connections with our assistant manager. Again, that's just a constant need across the board, and I can't say enough. I do know that in Richmond County, there is a youth emergency mental health facility that is Trillium operates under, trying to think of the provider, name escapes me, behavioral health. But anyways, they operate it for us. And they opened a couple of nonprofit homes in, I want to say Anson County, not Anson, but over, oh well, anyways, where the winery is. Duplin County, yeah, down in that area. So there's some homes down there that they've opened. It's a constant problem and we're dealing with it.
Thank you. Thank you. The more resources we're aware of, the better for around the region. Anybody else before we move down into the chair's report? All right, chair's report, in the town of Selma, if our meetings go past an hour, I'm losing my mind. 2 hours here is pretty good. We don't get to see each other nearly enough. But I am one that when we get through the business, I want to get through the business. Let's just punch it along. And then I thoroughly enjoy conversation amongst our region so that we can all better understand how to handle the problems that we all face together. So thank you for an absolutely wonderful first meeting. Thank you, Pastor Gant, for the absolute wonderful lead-in.
You're here.
And thank you all. Thank you, staff. Thank you, Lee, for the hard work that we are doing to make sure we move our region forward together. That's all I've got.
Delegate.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's great to see a big crowd here for the meeting, and appreciate all the good conversation and timely discussion about a really important topic. And just to add in terms of something that we've been doing here at the Regional Council, I know we have offered to staff mental health first aid training. It is something personally that I'm very passionate about. I've actually helped lead some conversations at the state manager's level about resources that we could be offering our local government managers, and thankful to this board that has supported our budget We actually, for the first year, last year supported a local government managers mental health support group that was actually staffed by a mental health professional. The invitations were only for managers. And it is confidential. If you ask me if your manager was there, I'm not going to tell you. And so very good group, had a lot of good discussions, and we're looking to see how we continue that group into the next year. So just a couple of little highlights I felt like I needed to share. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because you have a written executive director's report. We're going to thank you to Beth. We're going to start providing that.
Thank you, Beth.
It is good. You know, Beth is the designer. I wrote the stuff and then Beth made it look better and corrected the
Thank
English
goodness
and all
for
that.
Beth.
Yes. She insists on putting this person at the front, and then she's that, yeah. So I will just real quickly, I won't do this every meeting, but we'll get this out. I know for the virtual folks virtually, we'll get this out.
It's on the website right now.
It's on the website. She's already. We'll make sure you have a link to it. But what we're trying to do here is give you a taste of what some other regional councils are doing in major metro areas to help with those discussions that you're having. So an example from a really wonderful regional council in Kansas City. We have a local government member dashboard, and this is, I just took a screenshot of it, but it shows our request and where we're doing work. We're going to continue to refine and make it better and more interactive. We'll also add a finance dashboard. We didn't get around to doing that yet. An update on where we are. My goal this year is to visit every local government. I'm starting with the local governments that have a manager first, and then we'll move to the local governments that are mayor council form. But you can follow along the ones that I've visited, the ones I've already scheduled. And then we get some really interesting information from our national associations. So I've just sort of picked some things and put it in the report that I think may be of interest to you in terms of not only regional issues, but things that may be helpful to you as you're thinking about policy for your local governments. We always do a core value highlight for our wonderful staff at every staff meeting. So we're putting that in the newsletter so that the reports, so you can get to know our staff better and understand the good work that your staff's doing for you. We'll have some other things as well. But if there are things you'd like to see, we'd love to hear from you. But I also really quickly, because we do have a few extra minutes, we have 2 new staff members here, and I'd love to introduce them. And they both work with Elena.
Wait, you're going to drag them up to the front, right?
Well, that'll be up to Elena. I'm delegating that to Elena to introduce our fabulous staff members.
I'm not going to make them come to the front.
I'll do a bow.
You can stand.
Why don't we come back to work tomorrow?
Yeah,
So,
we have 2 new folks on the member services team, so hopefully you'll be hearing from them soon. So,
And not you? No.
yeah, maybe. So Grace Berry is with us. She's through the Lead for NC program. So some of you may have folks in that program in your organizations. It's in partnership with UNC and AmeriCorps. So she's with us till June. We're very excited about it. And then Hannah joined us on Monday. She's our new management analyst. We did steal her from the city of Raleigh, but we're very happy to have her on the team. And so you'll definitely get to interact with both of them soon.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, they've been great. I did get cornered at the Raleigh Chamber meeting. I presented actually yesterday on MSAs, the Metropolitan Statistical Areas, and got cornered by the Chief of Staff of Raleigh wanting to know why I took her wonderful employee. Sorry, Delegate Silver, but we recognize great talent as well, and Grace has also been, as Hannah, and then Grace has already been so helpful to me on a couple projects. We're actually putting together a region-wide capital improvement plan analysis, talking about where we are in terms of capital planning, what the needs are, what the local governments are spending. And Grace has already been a tremendous help in beginning to gather that data. So thank you for being here, Mr. Chair. Back to you.
Cool. So is there any other business from board members we want to throw out there before we adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I would be remiss in not admitting to the fact that Lee County's Athletic Park grand opening will be on Saturday, September 13th. We are going to have all sorts of neat things. It starts at 2 o'clock, and I did not realize it until we were at the conference at the Cooperative Extension Dinner. They had a band there, and our county manager was elated to find out that's the band that they booked for the opening. So the same band that night was entertaining us is going to be there. County manager was dancing in her seat, I'll tell you.
Very cool.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
But,
Any other business?
You can reach it by going down US Route 1, 421 bypass, and take the North Carolina 42 exit. There's a sign there pointing to Broadway, so you'll get off at the right exit there.
And you do expect to see every one of us there.
It'd be nice. We're gonna have food trucks, we're gonna have entertainment, we're gonna have and my clerk told me what it was, and I had to ask her, what? A drone display at night instead of fireworks. Parks and Rec director will deny fireworks on our all-surface fields, so.
Congratulations.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Congratulations. So, very cool. I would just like the last bit of business. Please do get your staff and yourselves, take that member survey. As we are talking about going forward and the adjustments that our regional council needs to make to better serve our communities, that survey is super important. So please, everybody, take that survey back, and Johnston County is about to blow all of you out the water as far as how many people have taken that survey. But let's get some information to these folks so we can make some moves for the future. All right?
Yeah.
Any other business? With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Okay.
Do we need a roll call? All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll out.
Thank you. Please drive safely, wear your seatbelts, no speeding.
You as well. Drive safely home and come back.
Hey, Tim.
No, you're
I
good.
was getting really tired of like recently I was like, finally we got one that's like not going to Holly Springs. So
You built it around water though.
it is, I mean, it's going to be one that it's going to be overflow.
My granddaughter doesn't go speeding.
No, it's gonna impact us.
I knew, yeah, it's not by name, by vibe. It's going to be hardly can tell.
I know, that's sweet. That's great. Guys, I'm glad to hear it. Because honestly, it just affects the teachers. I love it. Good seeing you. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah.
There's a whole video.
Yeah, not ready yet. I'll be here till December, and then you'll have somebody else from Apex.
Thank you.
I'm just glad to come back again.
There we go. They have my, oh, absolutely. They have my face and email. You click on my face and email. But yeah, and like I said, it's you know, we have, if you go to the website, show you links to every resource that we've had as a.
So this makes me
We have links directly to
the
them.
region, but that was great. You know,
I had people call me, hey, how do I find this? And I'm like,
we have a people there.
I think it's really great. Yeah. I mean,
Really
we've got
And so I really appreciate you just talking.
Okay, tell me your story.
Right, that's where it makes it difficult. It'd be different if they were just sort of like that with.
yes.
Globally.
They have sort of
It's obvious. It's a big spot, you know, for so I'm really glad that there's that chance to
help facilitate it.
nice job.
We don't have any like.
Hey, good luck.
Because they couldn't, the water was down.
And you're in here.
Yeah.
Sure. And there's another organization.
That's
National headquarters in DC.
I was thinking, you know, someone from that area to be the one to get the finish line. That'd be awesome. Yeah, for you, yeah, yeah.
So.
Community college and high school.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's on the place. Shoot me an email, phone call. I can talk about it all day long.
Yeah. We're happy to do that. Good to see you. Drive safe. Oh, good. Good.
I'm
Be
riding.
extra safe then. It's better.
I'm running.
Joe's representative for Taylor's Trailers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but what,
Yeah.
and we
See
weren't
you guys so
even
often.
asking the trade items.
So you have a couple more meetings, right? Okay.
Also.
I'll be going off the board, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure you're kind of looking forward to that.
So it's really
Not
relatable.
being elected.
Yeah, I mean,
Not at all. Oh, it's good.
They-
We just got back.
They mentioned, you know, in our previous conversation about like the size of the crowds being like really small. We had like 300 furious people last night.
Well, Lucy.
A data center is being proposed in the future, so there's no plan yet. There's
Data center that's like top of everyone.
Yeah.
One in Apex.
They had a neighborhood meeting, that's all they had. There's no plan yet.
She's been like running out the
But
door.
they're so mad about it.
Oh, I'm mad.
It's still like 8 months away, but yeah, so.
Yeah,
There's,
yeah.
out there in the data centers. There's
Yeah.
one in,
I'm here.
the Toyota's going in.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, anyways.
They have, there's cons, they're like a cash cow, because you get the tax from the building and
So-
the stuff inside.
So-
It's like millions a year in tax revenue.
That makes a lot of sense. Why? Because I've seen them also like in the news for being in these really rural areas where they're like, yeah.
Lucky to have it, yeah. Right.
So they're just like unsightly, is
Mental
that
wellness
what the big?
Well, they're environmentally.
It's environmental, we hear all of things
Yeah.
already.
Well, 300 people, you gotta hear every argument with 300.
And we got a thing tomorrow at town hall. We don't do this till recently, and they're gonna be out there tomorrow too, so, yeah.
We're gonna be at every meeting that's not even relatable, right? Just bringing it up, like.
Really?
No
I don't know, I mean, it's not
What is
even.
your
the
conflict
whole
on
everything.
like, is that when it gets
It was,
really?
but we were having lunch.
Yeah, we have a public forum.
So we were in the hallway when Mike Johnson was
Public
walked
comment
out.
about certain things, and then they were there for just the forum part, because there's no plan, it's like months away.
Yeah.
The council's gonna change. Even,
And he's like, yeah.
It's like, why are you telling us?
Yeah. But it's fine.
Yeah.
And mental.
Oh, no, you should come with me, because. Good to see you guys.
Yeah.
I got dad.
Because he was taking us out. You'll never believe it, but 2 days ago,
And I'll drive you home.
whatever you need.
It's crazy.
We started the conversation that way. and that's- Yeah, it's, there are more resources.
Mhm.
That's right. As I tell everyone, even if you don't have information.
He's like, right, like I saw him walking out there watching it every day, and he's like.
Are you ready soon? They need to-
It's right on the corner, you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Like I said, give me a call, shoot me an email.
I'll shoot you an email, we'll get in touch.
Absolutely.
I can't remember the name. It's like a. He's right outside.
Transformer? So, your transformer?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes,
Hey,
yes. That
Thank
part,
you.
yeah.
Okay, that works. I'm
Yeah,
starting-
maybe it is. It's a small one like that.
And then when
We have one on the other side of our fence, and the guy was like.
I just lost all the cards. I had them all in my hand. I was gonna give you yours personally instead of by email this year. Give you your invite up to Wake Forest. I don't know which pocket I put them in though. I will get it to you.
What are you inviting me to specifically?
Well, everything number one.
Yeah,
but
for the
make-
gas line, it
This
could
pocket.
And he was like, it could hit the gas line, which could obviously.
Up to the mental wellness. We'd love to have you.
Challenge.
Ever. You ready? Thank you.
That's the problem in this position. The calendar is always full and we just don't know.
Yeah. And I literally was like telling Cassie,
I know where I'm going tomorrow, and that's about as far as I venture.
All I know is I'm getting home
9
tonight.
o'clock every night.
Great first meeting, look at
Fantastic.
you. Like, how many times?
I like the competitiveness too.
Like, Dan.
That's, I'm so.
Morning. Break to eat lunch.
Yeah. Johnson County's about to knock it out.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
like
playing.
it.
He's like double that
I
number.
don't, I don't take L's.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, but that's good.
That's how I, thank you. Great meeting.
Thank you. I mean, really.
I know.
We'll keep rolling.
did.
Yeah,
That's what we
that's
do.
his legacy. That's gonna be his legacy.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Safe
I'm gonna
travels.
get on the road, but yeah, thanks to Central Pines.
That I would say is actually.
Once in a while, you see.
Yeah.
That's
We're gonna try and do that. That's what he wants.
You're the one that told me that.
Did you? Nice.
I didn't bring it with me
Yeah.
because I have not driven it tonight. And
Yeah.
there's too many bells and whistles.
Right.
But I
What
love
kind
it.
did you get?
A Kia EV6.
Oh, nice.
No. Test anything.
I know. I didn't think you would. I didn't think you would. That's why I asked you, what's the alternative?
The
What did you
ultimate
get?
evil, but
Yeah.
But yeah, we got an EV. And
Nice.
awesome. I gotta tell you, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I charged it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't actually have to charge it.
Yeah. Is that on?
So, yeah.
Oh, I thought
it all came out because we systematically figured out
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and how we would get there. And so now.
Oh, yeah, we don't have a test.
Process of doing it. So
No, and it's not 2022. Nice. It's a like Hyundai.
Anyway, we gotta get together,
Yes.
you guys. Are you guys gonna go to Christmas?
We've always been trying to, so, yeah. Yeah, I know, which I love. These are Frontier that's direct from there, which I've taken before, actually, that's good, but, my brother's.
You were on the phone, weren't you?
So we'll see, that's just a tricky time of year. Yeah.
They're not doing it, but yeah.
We're going to simulation next week and boom.
He was so great. And then when he came out and played with the Ding Company,
Yeah.
it's even better. But he did several songs. He's got a great band and
Yeah, he's super talented.
fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to get tickets.
Oh,
And
I
I just
know.
tried to
I
get
put in a
tickets.
lottery for these for Boone and got 'em. And it's it's on Appalachian. It'll probably be the smallest venue we'll ever see them in.
Where is
It's on campus at Appalachian.
Oh,
Yeah, with Brian Sutton. And it's just those
well,
two.
I looked at tickets at Tedeschi Trucks and
yeah.
Little Feed. And I looked at it for Charlotte, because Aaron lives in Charlotte.
Out there, I know.
I'm like,
Were you in the car?
Yeah.
it'll wait.
Well, that was a once in a
So
lifetime.
we lived
Oh.
in
Yes.
San Francisco,
Oh.
so
That I didn't know was on the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always a fun surprise.
Good retirement present.
yeah. I mean, he was out yesterday playing. He's out with the soccer players.
Thank you.
See,
Oh
a
my
couple of the
gosh.
guys live locally.
Yeah.
I just saw the. There he is now doing it.
Yes. Awesome. Aw.